Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Soto here, back with another one. Post game show. All right, so much more of the same. There's a lot to get to. Okay, first off, I want to say, before we go any further, you know what I'm going to say? Everybody, when you get on the show, like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you're watching us and you're not subscribed, what's going on? What's happening? All right, like it, comment, subscribe, share it to your socials. For me, as a personal favor, I'm asking you directly. Thank you very much ahead of time. Okay, enough of that bullshit. Okay, so the bad guys lose once again. I believe that's 7 in a row now, and we get swept by the Broncos after sweeping them 4 years in a row, 29-19. And there was some ups and downs in this game, and there was some glaring issues that we're going to get to. There's some silver lining here. Couple things. Number one, the team is still playing hard. Okay. And I think that offensively we looked better. It's just we don't have the horses, man. We don't have the horses. I was I was texting with my boy Rafi during the game, and I told him, man, Minshew plays like a quarterback that is much faster and has a much stronger arm than Minshew actually has. He scrambles and he like throws from weird angles, but it's like his ball doesn't have any zip. He's not as accurate outside the pocket. If it's not perfectly on time, it's not going to be a great pass. It's going to have to be to a wide open guy. He's not going to throw people open. There's a reason why he was a 6th-round pick, and there's a reason why, he was a backup. He had good stats, but it was, a lot of times, if we had Jonathan Taylor as our running back and the offensive line, I'm sure that we would have been getting a lot better version of Gardner Minshew. He just looked he looked like he lacked confidence. He looked like he was just in scramble mode from the very beginning. He had a decent day, but it's very misleading. That's why stats are very misleading. He threw the ball 42 freaking times, dude. It's like, yeah, you're going to put up stats if you're an NFL caliber quarterback throwing the ball 42 times. You're going to put up something. Unfortunately, I believe the biggest issue that we have here today on this team right now is the offensive line. When given protection, when given time, Minshew was actually decent. He was pretty good. When they ran the hurry up, which it hinders the defense from situational matchups, right? It makes them a little bit more vanilla. They can't really do a lot of scheming, more intricate play calling defensively. It makes them a little bit more vanilla. Minshew did pretty good. The main issues that we had quarterback wise were when we couldn't protect the quarterback. Minshew's interception, his arm was hit, the ball sailed, and it was intercepted. Minshew gets knocked out of the game. He gets tackled by 2 guys. They land on him outside the pocket and probably separated his shoulder or broke his collarbone, his clavicle. Probably broken clavicle. That's what it looked like. Desmond Ridder on the fumble. Colton Miller just got abused on that play. And he had a good game yesterday, but Bonito he's not a huge player, I wouldn't think. What are his stats? Let's see what this Nick Bonito dude's all about. Because he's the guy that crushed, just absolutely crushed. Yeah, he's 6'3", 240. He's a speed rusher. And he bull rushed Colton Miller into Desmond Ridder and forced that fumble. Hey, man, at the time of the fumble, we were right there. We were down 7 points. We had 3+ minutes and all our timeouts. And our inability to protect the quarterback is, I would say, at this point right now, our biggest issue. Quarterback play, yes, quarterback play, but we can't change that. We're not going to be able to change our quarterback. The big thing right now is, yes, your quarterback isn't like an elite quarterback. He's not a franchise type quarterback. So you need to be able to do certain things. You need to be able to run the football, which we can't do. You need to be able to protect the quarterback. And that Desmond Ridder fumble, that strip sack fumble, that was a 4-man rush. It wasn't like they were bringing the freaking pain on that one. They were bringing the thunder or anything like that. It was just the 4 dudes, and Colton Miller gets abused on a one-on-one from a speed rusher. Dude's 240 pounds and bull rushed Colton Miller back into Desmond Ridder. It's inexcusable is what it is. It's inexcusable, and that's a huge problem that we have right now. We're seeing a lot of things right here on the chats. Pathetic, embarrassing. Only once. Yeah, that's one of the things I want to talk about today. Defensively, we need to step it up, man. I think early in the game when we were dialing up blitzes and being a little bit more exotic on the back end, I think we were doing a much better job. And late in the game, I think we got soft. We started playing soft. We started playing too far back. We started giving them too much cushion. And when you want to do that with the Bo Nix, look, man, say what you want about Bo Nix. He wasn't just dinking and dunking the ball down the field. Okay, let me tell you. Let's take a look. And I'll prove my point here, okay? He had 6.5 yards per attempt, which isn't great, right? But those dink-offs, those dump passes that he had, those were keeping the chains moving, okay? But take a look at this. The top 4 receivers for the Broncos all had 12-yard average or more per reception. Sutton had 8 catches for 12.1 yards. Vele, 6 catches for 13.3. Mims, 3 catches, 14.7. Franklin, 2 catches, 15.5. So it wasn't like he was just digging and dunking the ball down the field the entire time. He did have a lot of those. Burton, Davante. Dude, Lil Jordan Humphrey is the best name out. Lil Jordan is his name. Troutman. Like, these guys were all short passes. But there were short passes to keep the chains moving, to keep the Broncos in, a favorable down and distance. The issue that we saw here was we just couldn't get home. So it's the lines. Both of our lines need a massive, I wouldn't say overhaul, but they need massive attention. Yes, we need a new quarterback. Yes, we need a new running back. We could probably use another target. Yes, but our lines right now, both offensive and defensive lines, are letting us down. We hit Bo Nix twice. Now, take a look at these plays. It wasn't like he was just digging and dunking. These guys have all, at least 12 yards per reception. And it wasn't like it was all deep passes. Oh, well, they had one deep pass, and that's what. No, these guys are catching balls down the field. You can't get to the quarterback, and you can't protect your own quarterback. It's going to be a rough day for you. In this NFL, especially when you're throwing the ball 42 times each. We threw the ball 42 times. They threw the ball 42 times. Yeah, when you can't protect your quarterback and you can't get to theirs, it's not going to be a great day for you. So we need to have a better showing individually. Yes, by a group, and the group needs to get better. But when you see players that are breaking down individually, it wasn't like Colton Miller had a stunt in front of him and he messed up and the guy didn't do his job properly. He just got whipped on that last strip sack. And the game was in hand. The game was within reach at that time. And it wasn't like it was out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay. We had the ball, 3 minutes left, or under 2 minutes, I guess. Strip sack, timeouts left. Like, what are you going to do? You got to protect the quarterback. We can't blitz every single play. We can't rely on blitzing to get us pressure. We have to be able to get home with 4. You hit Bonix twice. One was a sack, and I don't know who got the other one. Maybe Max got the other one, but we hit him twice. We need to have this individual efforts. We need to win these individual battles, and we're not winning those. That goes to show you that just the talent that's playing right now is just not very good. It's not very high, especially defensively. You have Maxx Crosby, who's like a legit pass rusher, and then you just have a bunch of other guys. Janorius Robinson was waived by his previous team. Chason was waived by his previous team. Snowden was a practice squad guy that nobody picked up. That's who we have playing on the other side. Tyree Wilson, he actually looked pretty good early in the game. He was, he had some nice tackles and he had a sack. What we're looking at here is just, it's a patchwork defense right now, but the guys that are there still have to perform. I'm not going to give them a pass. It's just it's a rough go about this whole thing. It's rough, man. It's rough. So let's go talk about a couple things here. I think Antonio Pierce had a much better day today. No glaring mistakes. I like the call for the fake punt. Cole to Diablo. Diablo looked like a natural with the ball. He looked good with the ball in his hands. I was like, man, this guy looks like a player with the ball. And then you heard on the telecast that he was a former like all-state wide receiver in high school, and he ended up playing safety in college and then now linebacker in the pros. But that was a great play by the special teams. Special teams showed up today, man. You got Cole with that pass on the fake punt. Cole had 4 punts, like 47.5-yard average, 2 punts inside the 20. Carlson was 5 for 5 on kicks. He was 1 for 1 extra point. He was 4 for 4 on field goals. I mean, that's good stuff right there, man. You get that long Dylan Laube return and the fake punt. I mean, special teams did their job. What we're looking at here is the issues that we have with the big guys. And honestly, look, let me ask you guys a question. How often do you see like 6'3" and up, 300 pounds and up, super athletic guys just in regular life? You really don't see those guys, right? How often do you see guys that are between 5'10" and 6'1", 6'2", athletic guys out there, maybe 200 pounds? You see them all the time. It's much harder to get really solid, good players on the lines than it is to get them outside. It's just numbers. It's just a percentage play, right? You don't see guys that are built like offensive linemen who are athletic and in shape and strong and smart. You don't see a lot of those guys everywhere. Guys that can play on the outside, to play like the skill positions, those guys, you see those guys all over the place. So yeah, it would make sense that it's harder to find those guys to play at a high level. And that's what we have. I have a real problem. Let's start with the defense. Defensively, we're playing with a lot of backups. Darnay Holmes, another guy that was off. Let's take a look at here, right? DeCamarion Richardson's a 6th-round pick, 5th-round pick. Jack Jones, we got off of waivers. Polamalu was an undrafted free agent. Maxx, 4th-round pick. Spillane, we got him on free agency. Divine Diablo was, I believe, like a 4th-round pick. Terry was the 1st one. Darnay Holmes, off the scrap heap. Thomas Harper, off the scrap heap. Snowden, off the scrap heap. Like these guys that we have out here playing, man, we're definitely missing the starters. I think that this defense would look much different had we been able to field a defensive line with Wilkins and with Kuntz. But this is what we have right now. And the guys that we have right now, they're just not talented enough. And I think Patrick Graham saw that he needed to bring pressure by blitzing because he wasn't getting the pressure he wanted without doing it. There's that. But then when the Denver started to move the ball, like second, third quarter, they started to move the ball a little bit. It's like, wait a second. Maybe I can't blitz all the time. I got to do something a little bit different. I got to protect my guys in the back end. They're getting beat up. Yeah. It's not an easy fix, man. And it's not something that will happen right away. It's going to take some time to rebuild these lines. And maybe it's just guys getting healthy and, a piece here and there. But ultimately, I believe that is the biggest hindrance to our team's success right now. Is Gardner Minshew good enough to win games in this league? Yeah. You got to protect him, though. You got to be able to protect him by being able to run the ball. You got to protect him by being able to, keep his feet clean and not getting his ass kicked out there. You also got to be able to get the other team's quarterback on the ground. We just haven't been able to do that. And it's directly related to the injuries on the defensive side. Offensively, the offensive line just I don't know whether it's just really bad coaching. Coach Craig just did a terrible job, and Philbin's doing what he can, but we did not look good. I mean, defensively, the freaking Broncos are like a top defense. They're like a number 3 defense in the league. And their defensive line is like leading in sacks and everything. So I understand that. But still, individual effort and big times is when you can separate yourself from other players. This is a big time player. This guy gets the job done when it matters the most, not gets used by a 6'3", 240-pound speed rusher when you're 6'7", 6'8", 320 pounds. That doesn't make any sense to me. All right, boys. See what we got going on here today. Well, look, again, just like last week, everyone got something that they wanted. There's fans out there like me who still want us to go out there and win games and play hard. They played hard. They didn't win, but they played hard. A lot of the deficiencies in talent showed. We knew from the beginning we were a very top-heavy team. We didn't have much depth. That goes to show from, previous drafts. The last 4 drafts haven't been great as far as depth goes. We got some starters out of it, but we need the depth as well. A lot of undrafted free agents and guys like that are playing major minutes. So there's that. And then you see just a lot of injuries that just really hampered us. So put that to the side. We also lost. Tennessee ends up winning, which they have 3 wins now. I don't know what the hell happened in Tennessee freaking winning this game, but I guess, and the better that Will Levis plays down the stretch, maybe the more inclined Tennessee is to stick with him another year to see if he's going to be something. We'll see. We'll see. Mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. Mark your calendars. I believe it's December 22nd. Jags. I believe it's Jags at Raiders. If I'm not lying, I might be. So that might be for the number 1 overall pick. And just the ability that we have. Yeah, where it's at home. Just the ability that this Raiders team has of making opposing quarterbacks look good. I don't know. Might be something to look at. All right. A lot of things to talk about here. So overall, the defense did a decent job against the run, but a lot of this, they didn't really run the ball all that much. They ran the ball 22 times, 2.9 average, but a lot of that was because Javonte Williams ran the ball 8 times for -2 yards. If you take a look at it a little bit deeper, McLaughlin ran the ball 7 times for 44 yards, 6.3 average, not good. And the guy from Notre Dame, Estime, I don't know what his name is, but he ran the ball 3 times for 15 yards, 5 yards a carry. I think it was only one. It was just Javonte having a bad day that made the numbers look a lot better. But overall, 2.9 yards a carry. They didn't really throw the ball that much. Obviously, they run the ball that much, and we ran the ball even less. But as far as our running game goes, Sincere McCormick looked pretty good. Ran the ball 5 times for 33 yards, a 6.6 average. I think that he earned himself some extended look, even if Madison and Zeus White come back healthy. I think McCormick showed that he can be a productive NFL running back if given the opportunity. And it's time. He's been on the practice squad so long. What else do you have to lose? Your running game is in shambles. It's not like any of these other guys are out there killing the game right now. You might as well give Sincere McCormick a look, an extended look. Man. All right. So you talked about that. I mean, Jacoby Myers looked good offensively. Jacoby Myers looked good, especially in that last hurry up drive. You can really see that Minshew and Jacoby really have really are linked up because he was looking for him. Look, man, they put Patrick Surtain a lot on Brock Bowers, and I think Brock Bowers was open a lot more, especially in that touchdown or that pass into the end zone. That was a pass interference because Surtain got there early. That pass was late. That pass should have been there a lot sooner, and it wasn't. And that happened a handful of times where the ball was just late, and because of that, it was able to get knocked away. That's on Minshew, man. He needs to get the ball out on time. He needs to throw it on time, and yeah, that was totally a pass interference. And I don't know what the heck. Brock Bowers is one of the rising stars in the league. Okay, look who he has throwing to him. Dude's still putting up mad numbers. On top of that, you let Brock Bowers take a shoulder pad to the fucking head, and you don't throw the flag. That's going to be flagged later on. I don't remember who it was that hit him in the head, but that guy's going to get, a bill in the mail from the NFL, from Roger Goodell's office. That's just inexcusable. How you can let that happen? Let a star player on the field, one of the best young players in the league, get hit in the head like that and not call it. Is it a Raider thing? Who knows? It looks to me like it's a whole Hunter Renfrow thing all over again. They just loved freaking hitting that dude in the head and not calling it. Let's see here. Johnny Gons. Much appreciated, sir. $5 super chat. Gail Soto, the Donkeys have the blueprint. Get a dog at quarterback. No more preachers. A dog. Shador and Shermer as a package deal for me. I mean, yeah, man. I believe Shador is the top quarterback in the draft this year. I believe that he has the ability. I think he's probably projected out to be. He's like a Drake May-ish. He's not quite. Excuse me. He's not quite rated quite as high as like a Williams or a Jade Daniels, but he's more of a Drake May as a player. I would take a step back and not look at right now, not look at pure stats right now, because Bo Nix went into a much better situation. He went into a situation that already had a good offensive line and a great defense, something that Williams and May and Daniels didn't really go into. Plus, a supreme offensive mind. Cliff Kingsbury just got there. Sean Payton has been there. He has his guys. He just needed the quarterback. So he went into a really good situation. Bo Nix did. But talent-wise, the ability-wise, I do believe Shador is better than Bo Nix. I think he's not quite physical traits-wise up there with the Williams or the Daniels, but he's in the May situation. He's in the May conversation. He's right there. But I believe he would have been the 3A, 3B of the draft class last season had he come out. All right, here. I mean, Denver did a good job on Brock Bowers, but again, a lot of those passes were late, and they had to put one of the best corners in the league on him. They had to put Patrick Surtain on him, and that allowed other players, to do well. But I mean, we do need to do a better job of moving him around. I don't know that he lined up in the backfield at all in the game. That's one of the big plays by Mims for the Broncos. They lined him up at running back, and he caught a pass out of the backfield, and he was matched up favorably. We didn't really do that this game. A lot of things that I was expecting us to do, we didn't do. We didn't really move Brock Bowers around a lot. We didn't motion him around. We didn't really do a lot of that stuff, and we didn't line him up in different places. He was lined up. He wasn't really lined up as a tight end. He was more as a slot receiver the majority of the time. I don't really want to get into it, but I'll address it. Is Maxx overrated? I don't think Maxx is overrated. I think that Maxx is by himself. And whenever you're by yourself, he still had a nice game. I mean, he still wrecked the game a couple of times. I mean, he had five tackles, 4 solo. He had 3 tackles for loss. I don't think he's overrated. He had a quarterback hit. What I think is happening is there's nobody else on that defensive line. Literally nobody else on that defensive line is getting any sort of attention. Everyone on that defensive line is getting single coverage. Everyone. And they're not really doing anything with it. So the proof is in the pudding. This is multiple weeks now where we're not getting to the quarterback. We're not putting pressure. We're not hitting him. We're not sacking him. And that's with everyone other than not named Maxx Crosby getting single coverage, getting blocked single. And they can't win. They can't win one-on-one battles, one-on-one blocking. So I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that Maxx Crosby is overrated because he's still affecting the game. 3 tackles for loss is big. But ultimately, when you have 3 guys, you're getting double teamed and you also get a guy chipping you and you get 3 guys blocking you on every single play, it's going to be really difficult to make plays. He just needs somebody else on that defensive line that's worth a shit. Just nobody else there. Snowden's a nice looking player. Maybe he can, develop into something. Robinson is, a guy. He's a Jag. Jenkins is a Jag. Butler is a Jag. These guys are all, they're just guys. Just a guy. There's no like dudes. There's no players on that defensive line like Kuntz or Wilkins. There's just no guys there. And I don't care who you are. Even Myles Garrett has other guys on that defensive line. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen when you're constantly. They don't have to pay attention to anyone else on that defense other than Maxx Crosby. Everyone else on that defense can get blocked one-on-one fairly regularly. I don't think I'm walking out on a limb on that right now. Let's see here. Yeah, man. I mean, just it sucks. It sucks the fact that we're 2-9. It sucks. It sucks that we're 0-4 in the division. We could very, very easily get swept in the division. Our next game is a short game, Friday, Black Friday against the Chiefs. We'll see what happens at the Chiefs. It was Christmas Day was good for us last season over there. Let's see what happens this year. Looks like it's going to be Desmond Ridder. Looks like Gardner Minshew broke his collarbone, or broke his clavicle, so he's done for the year. We don't know. I don't know that that Favre is looking to get back anytime soon. It's going to be Ridder, and I guess the backup would be what the hell's his name? Carter Bradley would be the backup. If the special teams are the best part of the team, then you're a really bad team. Yeah, man, we're a bad team. There's just no 2 ways around it. We're a bad team. Why are we a bad team? It's a mix of everything. The roster wasn't a deep, great, like robust roster to begin with, even at 100%. Just bombarded with injuries defensively. You lose one of your best players offensively to trade, and poor coaching. You know, I think that a few times early in the season, AP cost us with some of his decisions. I think he's cleaned that up a little bit. He is getting a little bit better at that now, but just awful coaching on the offensive line. These guys are playing much worse than they did last season. And offensive coordinator was just god awful. You put up 19 points against the Broncos. That's not bad, and it should have been a little bit more, considering some of those issues we had towards the red zone, especially that obvious pass interference on Brock Bowers by Patrick Surtain. But you know what? Patrick Surtain's a star. He's one of the best young corners in the league. You know what? He's probably in his third, fourth year, something like that. He's going to get paid big money, and he made a play at the goal line. It's going to be very difficult to get that. Even if you are a Brock Bowers, you're still a rookie. It's going to be difficult to get that call. John Baldwin, does AP get another year, or do you clean house? I think he'll be back. I think he'll be back. I think Mark Davis wants to have some sort of continuity and build. I think Brady wants to do the same, but I don't see that AP right now is falling flat on his face. I do see that. I understand why he's going to be a conservative coach anyway. On top of that, you have issues with both lines. You have issues with injuries defensively. Your offense is starting to click a little bit, but still not where you want it to be. So I can see where you are being more conservative. The issue is he's playing very similar to how Minshew plays. Like he's a lot stronger and faster and a bigger arm than he does. He plays that way. I don't know that you should have the level of confidence that AP has in his defense that he does. I think he's playing like his defense is much better than it actually is. And I think he should trust his offense more. I think he should go more huddle more. I think he should allow, Turner and Turner a little bit more leeway in how to open up on the offense. Conservative offense is not going to work because you don't have the type of defense that's going to keep you in games for long stretches of time. They're going to wear down after a while because defensively, yeah, you have some players that are good, but you have just mostly backups out there. Keith Pardini, thanks for being a subscriber. Appreciate it. I want to see Ritter in a full game situation, not just throw him in the fire at the end of the game. Well, I think you're going to get your chance because it looks like Minshew broke his collarbone, so he's going to be out. He's gone for the year. And I don't know that Favre's ready to come back from his broken thumb. So it looks like it's going to be Ritter next game. What else we got, guys? Let me know your questions. Let's take a look at some of these stats here, okay? Minshew, 25 of 42, 230 yards. A very, very, very poor 5.5 yard average. We just couldn't protect him. He didn't have any time. And even when he did have time, he scrambled out. Even when he had pockets, he played scared. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was sacked 3 times, rating of 72.5. The quarterback was hit 10 times. And that's what the Broncos do, man. They get after the quarterback. They don't need to blitz. They do sometimes, but most often it's 4 and 5 man rushes. And they hit our quarterback 10 times as opposed to us hitting Bo Nix twice. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. I mean, Ritter was in the game for, he threw the ball, 12 times, or he dropped back 12 times. He got sacked twice. He only threw the ball 10 times. It's a shame, dude. It's a shame. We can't protect the quarterback. It's tough. Um, I would say that first round, we need to get a quarterback. We need to get a quarterback. If we screw around and win a couple of games and get knocked out of the top three, if we're out of the top three, we're not getting a quarterback worth taking in the first round. Right now, I see, especially with a top 10 pick, it's Shador, it's Cam Ward, and that's it. Jalen Milroe, not there. Beck, no. These guys aren't there. These guys aren't there yet. I'd like maybe a Drew Aller in the second round. I already told you what I feel about that kid. But if we're not picking in the top three, we're not going to get the quarterback that we want, that we should get. I think picking a Milroe or a Beck or one of those guys, if we have like say the sixth pick or something like that, would be a massive mistake, terrible mistake. So it's top three or bust for us. I mean, 100% top three or bust. Because if we don't have a top 30 pick, you're not getting one of the top two guys. Either they're two teams that want to get a quarterback going to be ahead of us, or someone's going to trade up and snag one of the guys if we don't do it first. So what do we do? What do we do? I'll go into a little bit more on the midweek show, but ultimately, we got to get the best player that's there. Hopefully, it's an offensive lineman. Maybe it's a defensive lineman. If that kid out of Michigan is there at 4 or 5, I'd take him. Really solidify our defensive line. You get him there with next to Wilkins and Maxx. It's a great line. Maybe Travis Hunter is there. Who knows? I would take him. I would take Travis Hunter if the top two quarterbacks are taken. Do you really want to take the number 3 quarterback with a top 10 pick when these guys are not great? You're not putting him in a situation like Bo Nix. I don't know. That's just me. I don't think so. Maybe you can go and get one in the second round that still has really high-end traits. Maybe. But we got to get something. We got to get someone. And it has to be within the first 2 picks. Whether you got to trade back into the first round to get somebody that you really want, I don't mind that either. But ultimately, if we can't trade up or be slotted in those top 3, it's going to be very difficult for us. It would be very difficult for me to pick where we're going to pick, which is going to be probably top 7. It'll be very difficult for me to understand us taking in this draft specifically quarterback 3 with a top 7 pick. That's just no, we can't do that. Raider Paul. We have the first pick, get Cam Ward. Raider Paul, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree. The issue that I see with Cam Ward is his game is very college-centric. And what I mean by that is it's predicated on a lot of window dressing and a lot of players being wide open. It's just not going to happen in the NFL. A player that's more on time with better arm strength, and Brock Bowers has double the catches today. He has that touchdown in that Patrick Surtain knocked away. That was a pass interference, but go look at that play again. Brock Bowers turns around and he's there, and he's sitting there, and he's waiting, and he's allowing Surtain to come and gain ground. That's a timing play. It needs to be thrown right as Bowers is turning around. So when he turns, the ball's right there on him and he can catch it. Unfortunately, Minshew waited for him to be sitting there, and then he throws it a little bit too late. Ultimately, that's the one thing keeping me from putting Cam Ward ahead of Shador Sanders is the fact that his I'm not saying he's not going to be a really good quarterback. I'm not saying that. I think he's the number 2. And there's a big gap between 2 and the rest of the guys. But I think that being the most pro ready, and a lot of times people say that, oh, pro ready means he has a lower ceiling, but he's more ready right now. No, that's not what I'm saying about Shador. But he's the most pro ready right now as far as running a pro style offense, being able to make checks at the line, being able to make protection at the line, and playing on time and throwing balls on time in small short windows and making different types of throws. Cam Ward is an extremely versatile, talented, athletic quarterback. I liked him. I'll see if I can pull the clip, but I was talking about Cam Ward 2 seasons ago for the draft 2 years ago about someone to watch. And when he was at Washington State, I like him a lot. The issue that I see with Cam Ward is I don't see him making a lot of NFL throws. In his games, it's a lot of just college style stuff. Guys are wide open. Guys are pulling away from the DBs, and he just lofts it up there. He's made some good plays, but it's a completely different ballgame from college to the pros. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it if we got, Cam Ward. Cam Ward is the most talented quarterback we've had for I don't know how long. If we do get him, skill wise, athletic traits, ability wise, I think he's better than any quarterback we've had in God knows how long. Fastest Edwards Racing. We used 2 of the top 3 picks on the offensive line. Brady deferred salary to get or keep offensive linemen. You can't account for season-ending injuries. There's a lot of stuff out there. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum, baby. Basically, injuries just tanked the season. Injuries did it for us. We were a talented starting unit aside from quarterback, but just no depth, and the depth really hurt us. But again, teams that have the injuries that we've had, those are teams that are playing poorly as well. Rarely do you see teams that have this type of injury or this type of loss. I'm counting Davante Adams as a loss on the field because we didn't get anything for him now. I mean, it's going to be a draft pick, but it's not going to be right now. The issue that we're seeing here is we're built around our defense playing a lot better than it has, and that's still how AP is coaching. He's coaching as our defense is much better than it actually is. Doesn't always line up, man. Nation, slow down and step back. Remember this: Brady is all about controlling the line of scrimmage. We are missing 2 players on our D line that were rated number 8 Kuntz and 14 Wilkins by PFF. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough going. Tough going here. Ducky the Butcher would prefer, if you're a real butcher, those are some nice cuts, bro. Would prefer Ward. They play tougher comp at Miami, in my opinion. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you. I'd take either one, but I'm not going to take, Jalen Milroe or Beck or any of these other guys with a top 10 pick. I'm just not going to do it. There's too many good players out there already. There's too many excellent players out there to take a quarterback that high. I think you can get an NFL style quarterback, an NFL quarterback with good physical traits and ability, not that far behind. I think Milroe is very dazzling because of his athletic ability. And I think that really raises his stock a little bit. But ultimately, the quarterback position is about throwing the ball. And I mean, if we end up picking him, I would prefer us trading back and picking him in the teens or in the early 20s and not in the top 10 pick. I think there's too many good players out there. There's some really good players out there, I think, that a lot of times people overlook because we're so focused and fixated on getting a quarterback. And ultimately, yeah, it needs to happen. We need to get one of those. But you take a look at some of these players that are out there. There's a lot of guys out there, man. I mean, if you're telling me you wouldn't want like Kelvin Banks, the tackle from the huge freaking tackle from Texas, or Mason Graham, that defensive tackle, all world, all everything defensive tackle from Michigan. I'll probably go somewhere there. If in the top three, we're choosing out of the top three and two quarterbacks are gone. It's just because you pick a guy in the top 10 doesn't mean he's a top 10 talent. And just because you pick a guy later in the draft doesn't mean he can't turn out to be better than some of the other guys. Look, Bo Nix was overdrafted for his ability. Now, I'm not talking about how he's playing right now. It's very hard. It's hard to separate the two. It's really difficult. Almost like RJ's butt cheeks. Hard to separate. But McCarthy, Penix, Bo Nix, those guys were overdrafted for their ability, what they showed in college. Now they got into favorable situations and they're starting to get, and Sean Payton is doing an excellent job with Bo Nix. But coming out of college, yeah, they were a little overdrafted. So you're talking about taking another guy like that in the top 7. I don't know, man. We'll see. We don't have that type of situation that someone can plug into. RNJ Podcast. Carter Bradley and Ritter for the rest of the season. Why would we try to waste money on quarterbacks? All we have to do is keep doing what we're doing. We'll get a quarterback faux show. And we will. Top 3 entertainment. Is AOC starting next week? I don't know. If he's healthy and available, he's going to start. But here's the deal. Here's the deal, brother. Got a short week, man. Got a short week. I mean, good thing that we're at home for right now. Thursday is going to be our travel day. They're going to travel during Thanksgiving. But we're going to have to install tomorrow. Instead of Wednesday being the install day, it's going to be what? Tuesday, I guess? Tomorrow, maybe an install day? Kind of has to be. Usually you install Wednesday, practice hard Thursday, walk through Friday, Saturday's a travel day, maybe some film, and you play Sunday. We're playing Friday. So we got to install tomorrow, or we got to do a really big install day. We have to have a really big day on Tuesday and practice Wednesday, maybe do a light walkthrough Thursday and play Friday. I don't know, man. Let's see here. Oakland fan. Inept coaches, bad system, and injuries are a fact, but the lack of sacks and turnovers are a product of hustle and want to. If you're coaching it, you're allowing it. Well, I agree with half of your statement. That lack of sacks and turnovers are a product of hustle and want to. There's also talent, man. There's also talent. Talent has, if it was just want to and hustle, anybody can play in the NFL. Talent is involved in this. And to piggyback off of the injury portion, if you're playing a lot, I mean, look, who are we playing out here? Our linebacker, Spillane, is a freaking like legit linebacker. Diablo, I saw like 3 plays where Diablo just picked the wrong hole. He's not giggity. He's not mentally catching up against the run as a linebacker. He's still getting swallowed up into the muck. He's taking the wrong angles, and he's not very good against the run. This is his 4th year, man. He's got to pick it up. I can see us moving on from Diablo next season. He's just he's not playing the position very well against the run. He's getting swallowed up, and he's not like this guru against the defense. Against the pass either. But our defensive line has their second and third best players gone, and those guys are like probably so your second and third best player on your overall defense, and those guys are gone. Your corner who was playing the best in Bennett didn't play. You had to play, a rookie who I think he played okay. The reason why DeCam Richardson had so many tackles because the guy he was covering had so many catches. You got your big free agent signing from 2 seasons ago, gone for the year. Your slot guy is not playing. Talent, man. Talent. Players make plays. Coaching is really, really important. Don't get me wrong. Coaching is extremely important in the macro. In the micro, when it's one-on-one, that's talent, dude. That's just freaking talent. Can coaches put you in positions to highlight your good attributes? Of course. That's what good coaches do. But ultimately, you can only do so much putting players in favorable situations. You need to have the talent, right? It's Willie and Joe's, not X's and O's, right? You have to have players. You have to have players. I don't have a problem with players that are divas. I don't have a problem with players as long as they're producing. I don't have a problem with diva players. That's a big thing that RJ and I disagree on. RJ hates divas. He doesn't want divas at all. He hates them. No divas for me. I don't mind divas. You can have a couple of those sprinkled around your roster, but they got to produce. If you're like fucking dick face Davante Adams dropping balls left and right, faking hamstring injuries, and you're a diva, yeah, you got to go. Shedeur Sanders, if you're a diva and you come on our team but you produce, he's just quirky. He just has a little bit of a quirk to him, right? Oh, he's very confident. I don't care. I don't think you guys should care either. You guys should want the best players to play because the best players are the ones that make the plays. It's very, very seldom do you see that a game plan wins a game for you. You put Vince Lombardi, Bill Belichick, the best coaches that you can put. You can get an all-star roster put together. They're not winning many games with that 0-16 Lions team or that 0-16 Browns team. You need players. And right now, a lot of our players that we were counting on to start the season aren't playing, whether by trade, injury, or whatever. And it's just a hard fact, man. Javier Medina. Shut the fuck up. This guy was defending Getsy a few weeks ago. I don't know if I was defending Getsy. I was saying that there was players open. We just weren't getting him the ball. That kind of goes along with not being able to give the quarterback time and poor quarterback play. So Javier Medina, no, you STFU. Because I wasn't defending Getsy. I never defended Getsy. I said be patient and give time. After like the first month and a half, I was like, yeah, this guy's terrible, man. It's not just X and Y. It's the whole thing is messed up. And I turned on him, like, you know what? Because I'm not quick to just jump on stuff. Like a lot of these fans are I'm not calling you guys out specifically, but a lot of you fans out there, every week it's fire this guy, fire that guy, bench this guy, cut that guy, then cut this guy, cut that guy. It's not how this game works, man. It's not how this game works. You got to take a step back and take a look at a lot of the context too. Are you going to fire Patrick Graham? Why would you fire Patrick Graham? He's a really good defensive coordinator. He showed you what he can do when he has the players and the horses to play. He was handcuffed by Josh McDaniels on what he was allowing him to do. When he was able to do what he wanted, the team played excellent at the second half of last season. Cut to this season, and most of his players are hurt. He's doing the best he can. He's playing with a lot of undrafted free agents and cast-offs. It's tough, man. It's tough to win that way. It's tough. Sam Demand, thank you for being a subscriber, dude. Much appreciated. Milroe or Allard? Oh man, that's a tough one, dude. That's a tough one for me. Because you can't. I want to give you a straight answer, but I also want to give you context with my answer. If we're picking a quarterback in the first round, it has to be Milroe. I think he has the much better skill set right now, and he has a higher ceiling because of his skill set. I think he's the most dynamic player that we've seen at the quarterback position coming out since Lamar Jackson. Now, if we're picking, let's say we're picking 5, right? Let's say we're picking 5th. And the top 2 quarterbacks are already taken. Oh my God, bro. I just can't see taking Milroe at number 5. I just can't see it. I can see us taking Allard in the second round. Please do me a huge favor, guys. Do me a huge favor. If you're really interested in this conversation, go and look and watch Drew Allard play. Just watch him play. His stats aren't going to blow you away because they run the ball out at Penn State. They don't throw the ball that much. But just watch the kid play and understand this kid is like 6'5", 240. He runs like a 4.7 40. He's got a rocket arm. He reminds me of a mini Josh Allen. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Josh Allen, but the skill set is there to pick in the second round and develop him. But it's a tough question. It's not a simple question to answer. I need more information from that question. If you're saying, do you want to pick Milroe or Allard with a top 10 pick? Well, yeah, you got to pick Milroe with that pick. But that's why the context is very important. Top 3 entertainment, Daniel Jones for cheap? Nope. Don't need it. Don't want it. Don't need it. I think Ritter can handle it. I think if not Friday, by the next week, I think O'Connell will be back and ready to play. So I don't think we need to. There's no reason for us to sign Daniel Jones. And why would Daniel Jones want to sign with us anyway? He already has plenty of tape out there. It's not like he wouldn't rather go to a contending team. I'd rather do that. McBud says Milroe. Jameson Jones says Milroe. Chris E, give me Allard. Milroe can't throw to save his life. If shut down, Milroe run game and make him a passer. He's terrible as a pure passer. I wouldn't say it's terrible as a pure passer. I don't think that's the strength of his game. I think that you can use the run game right now. Because also, look, you got to take a look at something here. Also, you got to take a look at the fact that Lamar Jackson went to a situation that had a strong running game and a strong defense already. So they had allowed him to progress as a passer using more of a run game. We don't have that. We're starting from right? So when we're starting with hardly anything, we're starting with, I'm telling you, two of our biggest issues right now are offensive, defensive lines. So if we can't do that, you're better off building long-term with a guy like Allard who has better overall traits as opposed to someone who's very dynamic in one trait, but it doesn't align with how your team is built, number one, and how your team is performing. If you want to get a Milroe, you want to get somebody that has a team that has a really good defense and a really good running game. That's not who we are right now. Allard needs time to grow and mature anyway. Might as well get him maybe in the second round while you're building up that around him because he's a better passer of the ball, I think. Ducky the Butcher. Millwall just threw 3 picks against an unranked team. No spank you. Aller is only 20. Yeah, it's his 3rd year, though. He may not come out. He may not come out this year. Say, I could see Milroe in Pittsburgh. I could see Milroe in Pittsburgh as well. I think that that offense is dog shit. All those people that were like, oh, we should have picked up Russell Wilson, this, that, and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what happened? As soon as defense has got a little bit of tape of Russell Wilson in that offense, there went Russell Wilson. I think he's done. Marcus Howard, what is this, a therapy session? I think it might be, bro. I think we need it. I know I need it. Chris E. Shador is the most NFL ready. He calls his own plays. How many 4-year players who can't even read coverage? You're a senior and still waiting for offensive coordinator to call every play for you. Very, very, very good points. That's what I've been saying. He's the most pro ready. Oma. I've been saying we are more than a quarterback away. Dart is okay. Dart is just that. He's okay. I don't see Dart having the high-end traits that would allow for a higher ceiling. You know what I'm saying? I think Dart is good, but I think he's a career backup in the NFL. Fringe, maybe spot starter type guy. Jesus, Sam the man. Ward reminds me of a small Jamarcus. God damn! Don't put that evil on him, Ricky Bobby. That's terrible. Omar, thanks for the super chat, man. Much appreciated. All right, guys, that's an hour. That's my time. Appreciate you guys, man. I really appreciate you guys coming on. I know it's rough. We've lost 7 straight. We're 2-9. We're just ass. We're just so bad. And it doesn't seem to be looking to get any better. With Minshew out, now it's going to, in a short week against, I mean, look, Kansas City just has a horseshoe stuck up their ass. They won again today. And what the hell is freaking Carolina doing not going for 2 at the end of the game? It didn't end up not mattering anyway, but still, man, you got to play to win the game there. Anyway, we'll see what happens, man. I'll be solo this week for the midweek show and also the post-game show after the Black Friday game against the Chiefs. But until then, everybody, peace.